The food in the factories I visited has improved enormously since I was last in China. Workers are given a great variety of dishes to choose from. The cost of a good meal is around 12 cents, and this would include one meat dish. During vacations, the Cheng's 2 children can eat with their parents in this factory canteen. Otherwise, they have their midday meal at school. Many industrial workers live in new residential areas, such as this one not far from Shanghai. It houses 4,000 families, most of whom came from the slum areas of Shanghai when they were being cleared. It is a complete community, with shopping center, hospital, restaurant, and kindergartens and schools for the 7,000 children who live here. This housing development is administered by a committee entirely composed of women. They were elected by the residents. At this meeting, they were making plans for a Sunday outing for the residents. Among their many other duties, this committee is responsible for setting up volunteer workshops where women who want to work part-time, perhaps while their children are at school, can earn some extra money. Among the 10 or 12 workshops set up by the committee is this toy factory. The toy shops in Shanghai were calling for larger supplies, and the committee thought it was something that the women residents would enjoy doing. Making toys might at first sight seem a rather unimportant contribution to China's national economy. But taken together, there must be tens of thousands of them, their total output is not insignificant. These volunteer neighborhood workshops have not only been set up in the new housing developments, one finds them down many small streets in every city. Some of them produce quite simple things, such as this one, where women are making wooden boxes. Though there are now tens of thousands of neighborhood workshops, their importance is perhaps more social than economic. They enable housewives to take part in production and thus to feel identified with the country's overall effort. These workshops also help to bridge the gap between primitive handcraft and modern technology. I realized the full meaning of the words self-reliance when I found housewives in one neighborhood workshop actually making integrated circuits used in computers. In the West, this sophisticated work can only be seen in a few advanced laboratories. Circuits so small that they are almost invisible to the naked eye must be photographically etched onto a tiny plate, and minute hair-like wires must then be welded to appropriate points in the circuits. Nothing I saw symbolized for me more vividly what is happening in China than these middle-aged housewives taking part in advanced technology. This is China's legacy from the past, the pollution of the air over one of her old industrial cities in the northeast. In the past few years, the Chinese government has become conscious of the problem of pollution, and its policy today is to build an anti-pollution system as an integral part of any new factory. A good example is this factory producing vinyl, a synthetic fiber. "70 tons of fiber are produced here daily, and 6,000 tons of water, highly contaminated with sulfuric acid and formaldehyde, pour out of the factory every day. If untreated, the water would have eliminated all aquatic life. It would have been unusable for irrigation and would have endangered human life as well. An elaborate water purification system was therefore built simultaneously with the factory itself. The water is continuously tested and its purity is kept well above minimum international standards. A sugar refinery in Kwantung province is also doing something about pollution. Thousands of tons of sugarcane arrive at this factory every day. Refined sugar is the principal product. Dense smoke used to pour from the factory's chimney. The workers at a meeting decided to do something about it. They blocked the chimney and deflected the smoke through chambers in which the smoke particles were mixed with water, which was then evaporated. They said it was a very expensive way of dealing with the problem, and they would have to think up something better. But meanwhile, they were collecting every day between 8 and 10 tons of sludge, which formerly went into the sky as smoke. They found that the sludge, when dried and mixed with other ingredients, could form a kind of cement. Another example of recycling what was once wasteful is the use they are now making of the huge amounts of sugarcane pulp that were formerly just dumped into the sea. Now they compress the pulp, bale it, and stack it in these strange pyramid piles. As in other sugar-producing countries, the pulp is now used for a whole variety of products. Altogether, 30 different byproducts are now made from what used to be thrown away. Paper is one of them. Brewer's yeast is another byproduct. And polycrystal silicon used in electronic apparatus. Even the cinders from the coal burnt in the factory furnaces are made into something useful. They're first ground and then compressed into building blocks. Shanghai, China's largest and busiest port. Though the Chinese now trade with 107 countries, her overseas commerce represents only a very small fraction of her gross national product. I was surprised to see the great variety of things China now exports, like this frozen pork which is going to, of all countries, Denmark. China does not equate self-reliance with self-sufficiency, and she's ready to develop her foreign trade on the basis of national independence. These are Chinese-made freighters. A few years ago, China had to buy or charter all her ships from foreign countries. Now she is making an increasing number of her own, some quite large, of 10 or even 15,000 tons displacement. The foreman who took me around the shipyard told me that the average construction time of a 5,000-ton freighter was 90 days, from laying the keel to launching. This is not as fast, he said, as the Japanese. To the Chinese people, the construction of their own ships represents an important new step. They are an indication of China's growing independence and commercial strength. But even more important, they symbolize China's readiness to move outwards and take her place once more as one of the great nations of the world.